you guys once again. As you know, I am a fan of Transformers. Always been since I was a little kid. Since I was a little wolf. But on that note, yeah. I didn't realize how terrible Shockwave was. Shockwave was, in most of the series I watched, he was just kind of there. He didn't really do anything crazy. At least to me. But yeah. Overall, learning the stuff he did in the comments from Chris McFeely and, well, Matt, my friend Matt, who's big into Transformers. Sorry, like I keep saying on these videos, some of them might be a little weird with me making pauses because I am very tired. I had a lot of work last night and it just kept coming, and yeah, also having to deal with some family stuff that I'm not going to go into here. But yeah, there's Satan, then there's Shockwave Part 2, which I don't remember all of what he did, but I remember it being quite terrible, so let's get in here. Oh boy! Right,
That's right, we going again, son! In addition to all the stuff we saw last time, he dismembered and strung up one member of his own team and tried to impale another on a spike face first. He
wonderful!
Turned legendary heroes into sniveling cowards, and he might have been responsible for 50 million human deaths.
That's just for starters.
So make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing.
What the hell was that?
The channel further. There's a bunch of links down below. Wait, what the fuck? Because there might be a part 3 of these at some point. But for now, let's start with Cyberverse. We never start with Cyberverse. Where
I actually like the designs in Cyberverse. Then I saw the toys. I'm like, that's awful. Like, a lot of the toys just don't look good to me whatsoever. So, yeah. Not really something I know much about, but yeah.
Invented the cortical psychic patch, which allowed bots' brains to be linked and information to be shared or extracted. He used this to hack Bee and Windblade's mind link to pretend to be Windblade.
Why are you talking to me like that?
Because we are friends.
And manipulated Bee into thinking that he had been a double agent all along.
Oh no.
I live to serve.
He went too far with it though, trying to persuade Bumblebee that Optimus was also a double agent, also working for the Decepticons.
No one would believe that. There's no universe where anyone would believe that. Like, yeah, that's going too far with it. Like, there's no way. The show is good, but not the toys. I heard the show is pretty good. This is another one on the watch list that I need to do. Maybe I will for the Patreon if the guys down below, like, say, yeah, we want you to watch this show too. Considering I've been going through Beast Wars and Cyberverse. Oh, Cyber World, not Cyberverse. The fact that we have 2 shows with both the words cyber on for Transformers is, yeah, making my head jumble just a bit. Must be the exhaustion. Anyway.
So he didn't buy it. And then tried to get Bee to tell him the location of the Allspark, but Bee rumbled the ruse and disconnected from the mind link.
Nice.
He planned to reprogram the Allspark to birth a new generation of Con, and that's what caused the Autobots to space Bridget the hell out of there.
Yeah, sounds about right.
He would regularly subject bots to horrific experiments, notably pillaging parts from Seekers to repair Shadow Striker when she was caught in an energon
That explains why they look like that, huh?
Explosion. Even if these parts would turn out to be dysfunctional and cause more problems than they were worth. He tried to attach a second head to this port seeker, no idea why. I'm saying just
trying to be like Wreck and Ruin, dear God, but yeah. This is horrifying in its own way, but yeah, I was wondering, like, because I remember seeing that character, and I'm like, huh, why do their parts look all mishmashed? They're like, oh, so they barely working parts that just barely hold them together.
A little tinker with Clobber, too.
What?
Shockwave used to experiment on me with this.
Yeah. Don't know what this thing is. Don't know what it does. The fact that she recognizes it tells you that she was conscious.
Yeah,
this one got a quick
now that I realize it, yeah, he's right. She would have had to been conscious to realize he was experimenting on, which I'm not surprised that he would have people be conscious while he's doing his experimentations. I mean, sure, they might start flailing around, which is the main reason why most doctors like to keep their patients sedated. But, you know, I don't know what to add here.
But he tried to use these two magnetic disruptors to shut down the Earth's geomagnetic field.
Wait,
and
what?
Wipe out all organic life on
Yeah,
Earth,
that's
just
what
to
would
make
it
it
do.
easier to locate the Allspark. He blew up that volcano to try and destroy the Ark, and it was only Teletran raising the shields in time that spared them getting lava.
All right.
He hired Lockdown to sabotage Soundwave's ship when he was trying to wipe out the competition for Starscream's vacated number 2 spot.
Of
This is
course.
after he had been mercilessly beaten to a pulp and dumped on the moon a couple of eps prior. But the craziest one from Cyberverse has to be when he used a spark extractor on himself.
What? Of course he would do this.
What the hell? Attempting to corrupt and therefore destroy the Allspark itself
Oh.
with the energy from his own evil spark.
Of course.
Okay, let's talk about the
I don't know why I
movieverse
said of
now,
course.
where
That's completely and utterly insane on Multitude of Levels.
he was active in the 1500s,
What?
according to this painting from the last night. And this is the theory that he might have been responsible for the 50 million deaths. See, this was a painting
Oh.
depicting the Black Death, a pandemic that killed huge numbers of people.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, potentially as many as 50 million people. Now, the history books claim that this was a disease spread by rats, but we know, right? It was obviously Shockwave.
What?
His biohazardous experiments must have got out of control. Just ripped through the
Honestly, honestly, this wouldn't exactly be something too out of pocket for him, considering all the other stuff we've learned he does with his experimentation. Like, him and, what was it, Tarantulas? Really, you know, up the ante on terrible evil scientists, huh?
human population. He was also involved in some capacity in one of the world wars because his silhouette was seen on a poster right here.
Oh, yeah, this is weird.
Apparently, eagle-eyed viewers, not me, spotted that in that scene where Devastator is sucking everything up in Revenge of the Fallen, there's a piece of newspaper with the title Mysterious Robot spotted and what looks to be Shockwave's silhouette. He wrecked up
Okay.
Chernobyl with his driller. I mean, it's such a shame because it was such a lovely place before. But he also set his driller on the city of Chicago and completely re-landscaped the place.
Oh,
Before
yeah.
having his eye blown out and having his abdomen exploded with an earth-shattering punch from Opie. That didn't kill him though. Opie had to rip his eye out through his throat.
Good God.
Oh, there's the video game crossover they should make. Transformers X Mortal Kombat. That'd be awesome. To finally finish it
I don't
off.
think that would work.
He featured quite heavily in the Rising Storm comics where he executed a bunch of humans.
Of course he
Then an
did.
Autobot called Jolt, then Elita 1, who he smashed to pieces when he landed on her.
Of
Long Arm
course.
got his head exploded. Salvage got his head exploded. Knockout, who he blasted through a wall. And Dune Runner got his head exploded.
Who?
So, you know, just a couple. Oh, just a quick, did you know?
No, sir.
Did you know that he had a helicopter mode in one particular continuity?
Huh.
Making him, yes, a triple changer. I'm going to keep that one for my vid on triple changers, which will be coming up soon, where I'm going to try and rank them in order of power. I'll try, okay, I'll try. Now let's talk about Shockwave, the shapeshifter. And yes, I am talking about the animated incarnation. He infiltrated Autobot
Oh,
armed services.
yeah,
He took
as
on a
Long
persona
Arm.
from historical records and enlisted into Autobot boot camp, where he got the nickname Long Arm because of his ability to go gadget his fucking arms.
Yeah.
Yes, I swear at my sneezes. He tried to kill B by swapping out training rounds for live fire ammo.
Of
when
course.
the Yellow Bot found out his secret.
You think there's a spy bot among us?
More tragically than that, he set up young Wasp to take the fall for being the spy.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
dragged off to prison through no fault of his own. Took a little bit of a closer look at that situation in this video that I've got up for the members, so check out the memberships if you've got a sec. After graduating
Okay,
from boot camp,
maybe.
he murdered the previous Intel leader Highbrow to get the position of head of Cybertronian intelligence and took on
Sounds
the name
about right.
Long Arm Prime. Then he started constructing a space bridge to allow the cons to invade Earth when the
Yep.
time came. Later, when Blur was on the verge of outing him, he crushed him
Oh, yeah, he crushed him into a cube.
into a cube. He attacked Ultra Magnus and stole his Magnus hammer.
Yeah, he was an absolute menace in this series from what I remember. And he's just one of the few good designs to me. Everyone else has, like, these weird, very powerful chins. But yeah, it was kind of horrifying. Anyway,
Would have later killed him altogether if it weren't
Not
for Ratchet
surprising.
showing up. He tortured Arcee, ripping a bunch of wires out of her head whilst trying to
Yeah.
extract data codes from her mind. These were codes that would give the cons control of Omega Supreme. After this, he
Sounds about
dumped
right.
RC on the surface of the moon as bait to trap the Autobots. And
Of
his plan
course.
looked like it was going to work until the bruiser, that is Bulkhead, showed up and started slapping people up. After he was defeated, he was
deserve it.
paraded in front of a huge crowd. But even after he was imprisoned, it was detailed, I think in a novel somewhere, that he still managed to unleash a virus upon the
Of
population of
course.
Cybertron, one that infected both Autobots and cons. Now, I spent a bit of time on the aligned version of the character in the last vid, but I did
Hello,
find
Trovax.
a few more atrocities. It's detailed in the Covenant of Primus how
Of course there is. Like, you know... God. Of course there is. Like, how many more can they have him... Like, how many more terrible things can they have him do at this
Next on
point?
left Cybertron under Shockwave supervision, he began to see Cybertron as his own personal playground to experiment on. This
Oh,
is where
no.
he created the Forged, his own personal army of bots who had been experimented on so much that they forgot everything about who they originally were. In the Age of the
God.
Dinobots comics, Shockwave used these guys to build a colossal prison in the mountain, pack up, and
Thank you for the raid, Chrono! Someone give him a shout out. Thank you! Fable,
Hello.
when did you get here? And how did you get
Just
here?
now.
Okay, well, we're learning about terrible things
Wait.
Shockwave's doing.
5 seconds. Ah, god damn it.
What?
Not Doc.
going to commit great crime.
When did you all get here?
Chrono just appeared.
Yes, he did.
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to say that I'm fixing to go get ready for work here in a minute, so hope you
Okay.
enjoyed the Raiders.
Thanks. For those who don't know me.
No problem.
Yeah. We're just learning how terrible Shockwave is, that's all.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
So, yeah.
Better Chrono.
Bye,
take
chat.
care.
By the way, hi, Fable.
Bye.
Y'all have fun.
I will say, sorry I missed your stream, more or less, Fable, yesterday. They were, they wouldn't stop calling. Like,
That's okay. We mostly just talked about random stuff. At one point, we were talking about Gundam and how much we hate the protagonist of Gundam Seed, and then Venom was talking about his 3D printer, and
Oh.
and it was just really silly stuff most of the
oh,
time.
that reminds me, we have an interview later today
Oh no.
for a new member of the project. Thank you for the hydrate. I also should have been drinking more water this morning. But yeah, I'm a bit exhausted, so I'll react to a few more videos and do whatnot. Yeah, that just reminds me, I think I had like a few... I think it was one person in particular that got really angry at me for giving my opinion on how I don't really like Seed's story whatsoever. Because it
Yeah.
kind of all over the place and kind of defeats its purpose at certain points.
Yeah, and what I was told and from what I know from you, freaking the protagonist is so unlikable, it's ridiculous.
Well, the problem is it's one of those things where everyone likes him. Like, the only one that's don't are quite literally the bad characters that you know are bad. But yeah, it's not... I'm over-exaggerating, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
capture Ultra Magnus, brainwash Swoop, gouge out his
Oh.
eye, and got him to attack Grimlock.
Oh, no.
Created Bruticus Maximus, who was said to
Couldn't
be a
find the
danger to
reference right
himself
now.
as well as his own allies, and he apparently tried getting the Insecticons to combine.
Oh,
have you ever seen that
that's
before
horrifying.
elsewhere? I don't think we have. Then he worked on getting Trypticon to turn to the Decepticon side. I guess he was
Oh.
neutral before that. Before building the massive Tower of Shockwave, which I think is that thing that we saw in Fall of Cybertron. Then
Oh,
he nabbed up
okay.
Alpha Trion to use him to help him get access to Vector Sigma. And no, I think that was it. In the cartoon,
Oh,
of course,
God.
he reverse engineered the Predacons, but implanting them with control chips so that they could be controlled. Slaves,
Of
basically.
course.
Astonishingly, though, after the Predacon was lured through a ground bridge, our guy was like, "This is bullshit." Jumped out of the window and and took on all of the Autobots by himself, and he beat them all too.
Crazy.
It wasn't until Optimus put in an appearance that he got pushed back. Then he realized that the Predacons were intelligent and impossible to control, so followed through with Starscream's plan to get the Autobots and Predacons to kill each other.
Of course.
Starscream neglected to tell him that the Autobots were arriving early. He went to impale his face on a spike.
God damn.
What the fuck? He then set about refining and perfecting cyber matter.
Which
this shit mean we win. Now, cyber matter was something that had been accidentally recreated in the fires when his lab exploded, which forced cybernucleic acid to mix with synthetic energon. They realized that with a little refinement, it had cyber-forming capabilities, so Shockwave immediately
so it's basically the ability to transform the planet into a new Cybertron for them. I see. Terraforming Earth. That's definitely not the first time they've done it. I know that, but yeah.
In it, another way of conquering Earth. All of these actions would return to haunt him, though, when he was swarmed by the army of undead Predacons.
Oh,
You've seen
goddamn.
torturing Grimlock in the Fall of Cybertron video game before getting his arm bitten.
Yeah, he deserved that. Grimlock
In
Fable.
Rise of the Darkspark, Shockwave designed an experiment to use the Darkspark to remove the Autobots' will to fight. He turned the Dinobots into slaves again in G1 when he rewired their brains and set them to work mining Cybertonium. He put Spike and Carly to work too, but that backfired because they fixed the Dinobots and they all escaped. Oh, look, he's wielding a little version of himself. I guess maybe it's like, was it Cyberverse? Where he had these little tiny versions of himself, these little drones. He tried to kill the female Autobots right after discovering they weren't extinct, and helped kidnap Elita 1. When the girl bots helped in the rescue attempt, he blasted them. And then when they were hanging on for dear life, he would have pushed them over had Opie not turned up to chase him away. Elita 1 did the revenging here and shot him down his barrel hole. His background lurking and all-round sneakiness allowed him to find out that the key to Vector Sigma, whilst on Cybertron could bring Transformers to life, on Earth, it could be used to turn any living being into metal. For some reason, Megatron just turned a bunch of trees into... Just used it on a bunch of trees. Yeah. But Silverbolt managed to destroy that before Megatron was able to deforest the entire Amazon. What's his problem with the trees? Seriously, though, this would have enabled the Con to cyberform the whole of planet Earth. Then there was the whole chronosphere thing. But I spoke about that in the last vid, so check that out if you want. But in short, it was a time machine platform thing that the Cons used to pillage Energon from the past, but decided to use it to get rid of the aerial bots to send them somewhere the fuck else in time. Everybody ended up back in Cybertron's golden age. Wow, everything was literally golden. Where Shockwave reprogrammed a Guardian robot to kill everybody. He killed Prowl in the Binaltech universe and created evil clones of various Autobots in the hope that they would destroy their originals in Rodimus Wars. In the Wings universe, G-Axis wanted to reunify the Cybertronian colonies, so Shockwave wiped out anyone who followed him in what was described as a cull. He tried to kill...
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like Shockwave, alright. This is just like normal stuff for him to do. Or to be able to do.
Also, isn't he the reason that the Dinobots are the way they are in the War for Cybertron game? Because he literally made them that?
He basically captured them and experimented on them to turn them into dinos. I don't know why specifically he did that, but I guess it was just so they could be more sustainable on the new planet they were heading to.
Also, also to add on to it, because I don't know if this video talks about it, in the Skybound comic, he pretty much captured and tortured Ultra Magnus to the point where he has super PTSD now.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. He literally tortured him for hundreds, if not millions of years at this point, and he literally, like when he popped up and tried to fight back, the fear, and he has PTSD from it, and it's kind of like its own miniature arc, but Shockwave is just as monstrous as he is in the Skybound comics as he is everywhere else, and I'm just like, I hate you. I really hate you, my dude. It's horrible.
Yeah. I actually like Ultra Magnus, too.
G-Axis too, but narrowly missed. Then he wiped all the details of the events from the Cybertronian history books to stop anyone finding out. Probably also to explain why no one ever mentioned this before. In his short appearance in Transformers 1, you could definitely tell this was a more light-hearted take on the character. He gagged B-127 to stop his jibber-jabber, then didn't want to take orders from Orion, so he got punched in the eye.
He deserved it.
Later being forced to shoot Starscream and then kicked by Optimus so hard, he shot himself in the face.
Yeah.
In Earthspark, his master plan was to use the Allspark to bring to life an army of protoforms in a bid to make the Autobots kneel before them. before Megatron had his crisis of conscience and threw him into a stasis pod. When he
Oh,
finally
that's
awoke from
better.
stasis, he instantly hated the fact that Megatron had allied himself with the Autobots. He found the Earthborn Terrans to be abominations and wanted them wiped out. He talked about being rejected by Megatron and feeling discarded so that Megs could start anew with what he referred to as accidents of the Emberstone, before he trapped them all in a force field and attempted to detonate a series of power cores that I think...
The one thing I do know is that Terrans are basically Earthborn Transformers, from what I can tell.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Though it's kind of funny of him thinking they're abominations, considering all he's done already.
Yeah, that's the thing. The frickin' Shockwave's a butt. He's literally a weird monstrosity. Have they talked about the fact that he's actually... have they talked about the fact that he's literally the reason the Primes in the aligned continuity are, well, hate each other?
I think he talked about that in the first video, but I'm not sure, so we'll keep continuing on and see if we get there.
Yeah. Fucking time traveling bullshit.
There's a lot of time traveling bullshit, funny enough, in Transformers.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. He killed Onyx, my boy. Why?
I didn't know you had a favorite Prime for there.
I actually have multiple of them. I'll explain after the video, but yeah, I have a couple of that I really enjoy.
Alright.
The space bridge. I really like his robot mode in this one. It's one of the more slimline versions of Shockwave that we've had, and his arm cannon is more of a harpoon now, like Impact has got.
Interesting.
But that can also blast out a huge dose of death. It can also scan bots' faces and give you their entire backstory, which is handy.
Sense,
His
honestly.
Alt mode,
What
not
is
so
that?
mad about, and I'm not entirely sure why.
Spider?
There's been other occasions where he's been a walking tank, and I've been okay with that, but I think it's the thin tank tracks, like, they're more like rollerblades.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like Robot Spider or
he
something.
Suddenly brought out the immobilizer from nowhere. I'm not sure where he got that from, but he ended up having that used against him and then banned and taken away. Like many of the other bots that were controlled by Mandroid and tried to kill the Mandroid. Then in Season 2, he helped Starscream reform the Emberstone. Before Starscream did his supervillain thing that he so often does. You know what? Check out my Starscream vid if you want more details on that.
Starscream is crazy. He's always been crazy, but except for that one time in Armada where he was actually kind of cool.
In Armada, it's cool because he's literally just a warrior trying to figure out himself instead of the whole backstabbing nonsense.
He's trying to prove himself, but literally he's being shut down every single time.
Yeah, and that's what makes him so interesting, is he's trying to prove himself. He's not, oh, I'm gonna betray Megatron and fail miserably, like in G1 and in every other continuity.
Fun fact, Fable, I didn't know this originally, but the voice actor for Starscream in G1 also voiced Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe.
That's really funny.
Next time, G.I. Joe.
He would vocate trying to refocus their efforts on Cybertron, and Starscream nearly killed him and the other cons with a big Titan slap.
Oh.
Before, as he put it, going his own way and leading the cons with him. I covered the War for Cybertron trilogy pretty good in the other vid, but there were a few things that I left out from the Marvel comics. Obviously, I talked about hacking Optimus's head off and draining his brain for intel. Oh my god, this panel reminds me of, those suction things
horrifying.
They put on cows' udders and they go like, only on his brain, as well as stringing up these Autobots to use their corpses as...
I saw a video talking kind of about it, but you would think because they're robots, they can't really show, they could go really hardcore with some of the art, but yeah, no, the body horror in the Transformers comics goes really, really hard. Like, it's bad. It's insane. You would think it's not possible with robots, but no, it's incredibly possible, and the artist, I gotta commend it to him, but at the same time, it's just like, guys, please stop. Please stop. This is a little much.
Like, here's the thing. It's like the term in Samurai Jack, where they obviously weren't allowed to do a lot of horror. Like, no, they were allowed to do a lot of horror as long as it wasn't people, like flesh and blood. That's why we have the Metal Eaters, Fable.
Yeah, I was.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, my brain instantly went to that when you said that, Mac. I'm not even kidding.
Like, this shows me how, like, skewed it is. Like, as long as it's robots, they can do anything.
Yeah, and...
That really is the one that pushed that onto me, because I remember watching it as a kid, and I was horrified.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was horrifying.
Like, it really is just, as long as they're robots, everything is PG-13. Or as they say in the the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Ah, robots, you know what that means. I can be as violent as I want and it'll still be PG-13. Delicious ultra-violence.
My lord. Yeah, no. I've seen some of the art of they chose to do to those poor boys. It's horrifying.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I still remember the cover where it's like, the Transformers are all dead.
Spare parts. Sure, I mentioned all those things, but did I mention crippling Josie Bella? Yeah, he attacked this oil rig she was working on, killing all of its defense forces.
Oh yeah, her.
She becomes undergoing extensive rebuilding and rehab, and eventually becoming a scantily clad superhero circuit breaker. It's
Circuit Breaker. Don't think about it. That's the name.
After this, he cemented his rule of the cons by giving a weakened Megatron an utter beating, smacking him with a water tower, electrocuting him, blasting him into a crater, then tossing him aside like he was nothing, then humiliating him in front of the troops by forcing him to pledge his allegiance to. At one point, Megatron and Galvatron joined forces, so he completely lost his mind and sat there babbling a bunch of random mumbo-jumbo bullshit until he was questioned by Scourge, who noticed that he'd strung up the dismembered remains of Cyclonus in this kind of horrific web of horror and body parts. Cyclonus doesn't look too happy about it.
I know that storyline. I think that storyline was that those two came from the future to try to rechange like everything, and the reason they could get ultra violent with them is because they're literally trying to mess with time. It's really stupid.
Oh my god, Shido, how hard is the RAM shortage hitting the Cybertronian economy?
No, it's hitting them pretty hard, not gonna lie. They've been at war for like millions of years, Shido.
But yeah. It's still a crazy reason just to do this. Like, there's a thing between killing someone and displaying them.
It's Shockwave. He doesn't... So, I don't know if you know this, but Shockwave literally does not have emotions because, like, his head, because of what, in the aligned continuity and every other continuity, the reason he looks like that is because he was a criminal and they literally removed his personality, everything about him, so he's literally logic in its worst form. He has no emotions. Everything is pure logic in its worst points.
Oh, that's horrifying.
That's why he's so messed up, is because he's literally logic. That's it.
Scourge tried to get him down. Shockwave blasted him and threw him on the scrap heap. He squashed this guy. This guy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and saw him coming out of the ocean. He was just walking his dog down the beach.
Oh.
Then there was this whole thing with a mobile power station called Power Station Alpha, where he set it to run amok. Yeah, the government thought it would be a great idea to build a flying, tunneling, nuclear reactor.
Why?
Which would collect energy while creating absolute chaos, basically. And Shockwave spoke about how he could set this thing to somehow destroy the whole of Earth.
Of course.
Earth will die. But when Cobra found out about this little detail of the plan...
Of course Cobra's involved, because of course they are somehow. They gave him the Cybertronian equivalent of lobotomy and made him evil. Pretty much.
On him and helped G.I. Joe destroy the power station. He tried to overthrow Megs a bunch of times until finally ending up getting pummeled to pieces when Megs joined forces with Galvatron again. Did you see that cover?
It's like a weird tag team with myself, basically. I'm having a tag team with more eviler me.
You know what's actually funny? In the IDW run, Megatron and Galvatron, even though technically they're supposed to be the same person, they're separate beings in the IDW run. Because the writer at the time liked Megatron, but he also liked Galvatron, and he wanted to write both of them, so he's just like, I'm just going to make them both appear. No, I'm not going to explain. They're just separate beings, but I'm writing both of them.
Yeah, I've heard that to be a thing before.
Yeah, it's incredibly funny.
It's flying everywhere. People will say, oh, it's just cables and that, but then why is it red? Look, there's red mist. He'd try and kill Megatron again by jumping him with a bunch of triple changes and throwing him over a cliff. He got drawn with two blaster arms and no head in this German comic.
What?
Because of all of the betrayals, Megs decided to separate our boy from his body, keeping only his head to prevent further coups. What is it with Megatron and talking to severed heads? But you know what? I'm going to go into this more when I do my worst deeds of Megatron, which hopefully I'll have ready for
there's going to be a lot, I'm sure.
It's going to be huge, that one. So make sure you're subscribed for that. I feel like I covered Dreamwave pretty good in the last vid, although I didn't mention him ordering the eradication of the Autobots right here, or ordering the stripping down and junking of their city of Iacon. I did mention that he shot through one of the Guardian robots and killed another. These guys were the Autobots' last line of defense, and Mr. Big Balls just shows up. He's like, just thought that was worth repeating. And he also gunned down Prowl. Don't worry, not like this. Prowl was back in the next issue. In Secrets and Lies, he spearheaded Project Dreadnought, a
Which
scheme
is?
to turn Cybertron itself into the ultimate weapon, a planet-sized supercarrier that could travel around the galaxy, brutally policing its colony planets and expanding the Empire.
Wow.
And if you're wondering what this
Terrible.
thing is, no, he's not about to give an enema or make sausage. Oh, I'm getting confused. Fuck it. It's an attachment for his gun arm that contains a derivative of the Scraplet virus, although it was designed to be non-fatal. So Dirge and these other coneheads got away with it this time. All this was before he realized that Earth was a primordial engine, a whole ecosystem that could fuel Cybertron. But before he set about harvesting, he got attacked by the Dinobots. He did a little beam clashing and then took a supercharged punch from Grimlock. Again,
As he
I
should.
spent quite a lot of time on IDW Shockwave last time, but there are a few things that I'd like to add. For example, his experiments to refine synthetic energon, which often involved live patients, creating the nightmare transmitter to manipulate bots' minds through their unconscious fucking dreams, and again killed the last Omega Destructor. Not sure if I mentioned this one last time, but he implanted the Maximals with fake memories and then forced them to fight each other over and over and over again, allowing him to test various battle strategies before he was like, that was fun, and abandoned them. In the Shockwave Spotlight vid, the Dinobots set him ablaze in an inferno, and right then he spoke about his systems being able to synthesize rage and sent him full Doomslayer, and he burst out of the flame and grabbed Sludge by the neck and swung him around to take out the other Dinobots, apart from Swoop, who got blasted in the back while trying
I do always find these comics weird with just how they're trying to make them look like realistic, you know, dinosaurs. I don't think the look looks good for them. I like the robot dinosaur look.
Yeah, I like the dinosaur version more, but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Fly away. Then he punched Grimlock to absolute before transforming into gun mode and hitting him with a Death Star-sized blast.
Damn.
We can't forget that he ruined Pinkie Pie's Happy Horsey cooking show before
Wait, what?
attacking with a cheese grater attachment on one arm and a whisk slash
here's the
spat.
thing. At one point, because a lot of that was an actual canon thing, because a lot of the comics literally shared were owned by IDW, they kind of did a giant crossover.
This might be why the fact of the G.I. Joe TTRPG, the Transformers TTRPG, the Power Rangers TTRPG, and the My Little Pony TTRPG are all compatible. It doesn't work very well at all.
Yeah, because they were literally part of the same publication at one point.
They don't work very well unless it's 20 overall isn't a great system. Those who have seen us playing it usually on Thursdays will know this, but yeah.
Bachelor on the other, before Gage ripped them out and then smacked him in the face with a couple frying pans, which turned his head circular. Interesting. It was said that he helped body-hopping supervillain Exarchon unleash a brutal war against Cybertron in IDW's 2019 continuity.
Oh
All
boy.
because Exarchon promised him unlimited resources to do whatever weird experiments he wanted. He tried to clone Skywarp, but wasn't able to recreate his teleportation ability. The
Really?
army he was able to create, though, was pretty effective and nearly won them the war, but apparently Nominus Prime created the Seekers to counter them.
Nominus Prime.
The reason he wasn't being able to copy his teleportation is because of the spark. Certain Transformers have a 1% spark that gives them unique powers. That's why if they're a lot tougher or have unique abilities, it's because of that.
Okay. All
You can like make copies of them, but you can't exactly copy the spark on that level.
You can't copy the soul.
Essentially, yeah. That's why Skywarp can teleport, why Grimlock is supposedly a lot more tougher than he should be, and any others that have unique powers. Also, people speculate that Soundwave might be one because of his ability to read minds.
Okay.
Them. After Exarchon mysteriously disappeared, Megatron took Shockwave and put him at the head of terrorist organization The Rise to spread dissent and eventually radicalize bots to the cause that would eventually become the Decepticons. Then he cloned himself an Insecticon army,
Of course he
taking
did.
advantage of the fact that they were starving to coerce them into it. But for the cloning process, he needed parts, so he, Spinister, and Sound Blaster started harvesting them from unwilling bots across the galaxy.
Of
His
course.
reputation definitely preceded him in the Skybound comics, where he was a bot known for taking his time when pulling Autobots apart. He was called in by Soundwave after the cons were awoken on the Ark and found themselves needing reinforcing. There seemed to be a real mutual respect between these two, with Shockwave genuinely glad
horrifying.
that his fallen brothers had been found, and Soundwave glad to have the backup. After space bridging into the middle of a battle, and Optimus's face tells you everything right here.
No.
He went to kill Cliffjumper, but Ratchet jumped into the way, and oh my god, look at that damage.
God.
It's more whole than torso at this point. And then he just laughed about it. Rare bit of emotion from Shockers there. We saw how respected he was again when Scrapper had his back in this battle here, where the Constructicon says, "For the cause, my general." Now, the reason I keep on about this respect thing is that so many times over the years, the downfall of the con has been their squabbling and infighting, and I've always thought that if these guys just instilled a little discipline and all pulled in the same direction, the Autobots would not have a chance. And Skybound Shockwave seems to be a leader that brings that. He picked up Prime and pile-drived his head into the ground, and it was only Elita and Ultra Magnus randomly materializing through the space bridge that diverted what would have been the killing shot from his arm cannon. He went to recycle Ravage here after he got damaged, picking him up by the hind leg, and he was about to feed him into a grinder right in front of Soundwave.
Wow!
But he got distracted as he marveled in awe at these whales and manta rays and stuff before telling Soundwave, "Yep, I've got an even bigger grinder for them." Of course, this is the energy feeder, something that could
He's gonna grind whales?
Yeah, they did. So remember how I think you know about this. Remember how Alita was more than willing to let Earth, like basically harvest Earth if it meant Cybertron continued?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna use that.
He's gonna grind down whales, Fable.
They did actually. They did for like a couple hours. It was horrifying. What
the hell is happening?
Yeah, one of my favorite responses to literally Soundwave when Optimus was really upset with him. He's just like, he literally said something like, "Is this gonna turn something along the lines of, is this gonna end the same way last time where you were begging me for your life?" Optimus was really hardcore during the war, apparently.
God damn. Not just whales, but all of our sea life. Why are they grinding the Earth's sea life?
Biofuel. He was literally turning it into a biofuel for Energon.
Oh my god.
Extract the energy from organic matter. After the Autobots retreated, he ordered that Jazz and Cliff be hauled off as he had many painful experiments to subject them to.
Oh no.
After that, he had the Constructicons switch on the energy feeder that started sucking all organic life out of the ocean. I did put a grinder sound effect over this panel and the sound of some liquid sploshing and stuff, but I think I'm going to spare you guys.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's just too much. Look at his face here. Before slapping Jazz around something awful and then using Cliff as a human shield to escape from the attacking Autobots.
Oh
then
my god.
Ultra Magnus appeared as backup, and just as you're thinking, fuck,
yeah, he looks so
this whole little
cool.
build up, Optimus is like, "We brought backup." And then the fucking space bridge opens up and there's a silhouette in there and he comes out and Wheeljack
there's
is like,
Wheeljack.
"Get it now!" And then he takes one look and then all the PTSDs come flooding back, so he evacuates his bowels and runs away, probably remembering how Shocky Baby tortured him until he looked like this.
Dear
Again, there's kind of
God.
a lead up to this as well, like Ultra
It makes
Magnus was
sense.
rescued and then he was slowly rebuilt and slowly refound his courage and his will to fight.
But
so this
still.
moment is like a house of cards collapsing. And again, Shockwave laughed. And you know when this guy laughs, something bad just went down. When Devastator fell into the energy feeder and destroyed it, Shockwave made a swift retreat and quickly ordered the Combaticons to execute Cliffjumper. Cliff is the proper whipping boy here. But the red mist started to descend on Opie, so he followed him through, obliterated the Combaticons, beat
See, this makes me think of like the movie Optimus, where he's doing all these funky moves. Like, he is a good combatant that you can't push over.
I wish he did obliterate them. No, the Combaticons are still around, and they freaking made fucking Bruticus, I think his name is.
Yeah, Bruticus is their combination form.
Yeah, the Decepticons right now have literally 2 combiners. It's really annoying.
And I guess the Autobots have none, of course.
They have what's his name?
Superion?
Yeah, they have Superion.
That's the aerial bots.
Yeah, except one of them's dead right now, so it kind of
Oh, great.
Shockwave mercilessly.
I'm surprised I remembered the name of the Aerobots combiner.
Proceeded to pop his head like a melon with his bare hands. It's super unusual to see Optimus like this. Obviously, there were moments in the Bayverse, but that felt different. Here, you see him visualizing this baby as he's doing the beating and thinking about the effects that Cybertronians will ultimately have on organic populations.
Oh,
Find this image
God.
a harrowing one, with the tendrils snaking into the kid's
He's like,
crying
I
eyes
can't
and
let
open,
him
crying
live
mouth,
because I
and
know what
really
he's going to
felt how
do. And also, go ahead.
There's a reason why Optimus is having these weird visions is because of the fact that he has Megatron's arm right now. It was literally infecting him with it was literally infecting him with what I believe is dark energon, so it was making him go crazy. That's why he went all crazy mode on him, because he was literally losing control and he was getting really weird visions that were messing with his mind.
Alright.
OP's mind just went. The issue ends with OP choosing to go back to Earth rather than stay on Cybertron with Alita in a fucking amazing ending that I'll let you sample for yourself. Like, there's more to it than what I'm saying here, but you guys really need to go on that journey yourselves. But
at some point I
Shockwave,
should.
OP says something
You
at
really
one
should
point that
read the
sums
comics.
him
They're
up
so
completely.
good.
That he's not just the enemy of the Autobots. Often his dedication to cold, hard logic
He's the enemy of every...
life itself. Guys,
Yeah.
make sure you're subscribed, because
literally
I'm
just
very
the
likely
enemy
to
of
make
life.
another one of these
That's it.
video in like a year's time or something. Because as I'm making my other videos, I keep finding more examples. Like, okay, oh, genocide here, atrocity there. Wow, that was horrific. You know, and I jot them all down. So as soon as I've got enough, I'll do a part 3. Next up, I'm working on my huge Megatron video. As I said a couple of times already, it's going to be so big that it's going to take me weeks. So I'm
Makes
hoping
sense, honestly.
to release it in the
Oh,
run
wait,
up to
we're doing
Christmas
the
somewhere.
Lincoln part.
And whilst I'm working on
Anyway.
that, I might put out a couple of videos on Pacific
God.
Rim, because that's a new comic coming
That-
out. New
oh,
prequel
really?
series has been announced.
Oh.
So it looks like there's some movement there.
We
Finally.
should check that out.
Once again, thank you so
Yeah.
much for all the support that you
Alright.
give my channel. I'm not normally a gushy guy, but it does
yeah.
mean this weirdo right here. Alright.
There you go. What the hell? But yeah. Shockwave is horrifying.
Yep, because he's literally the embodiment of pure logic in its worst form.
Who grinds up whales?
A creature that does not, someone that doesn't really believe in life and just sees it as its usefulness.
Alright, well, if you guys want me to react to more of that stuff for Transformers, like, comment, and subscribe, and, what do you think of Shockwave? Tell me down below. I'll see you guys later. I'm still very exhausted from work, so thank you guys for watching these videos. Life has been hitting me hard, so thank you all.